serie about Girls Talk, and today we will speak about Pranic Living with Grace Love. As I mentioned before, I met Grace Love a year before when she organized the first Pranic Festival in Australia, and she asked me to do a conference about my Pranic path, my Pranic journey, how I'm living it in a daily life. And we really get contact so closely, very quick. And I wanted to do this series asking her life and how she's experiencing all these things, because as you already know, she is in this path. And also she's a Breatharian, Pranic path. And today I just want to speak about this journey and this life. And I want to invite you, Grace, to share with us your journey, how you met first with the Pranic Living, Breatherian Living. Have you started your journey, and where are you at the moment? How you are doing it?
Thank you. Thank you again, Adrienn, for having me. And thank you, everyone, for watching, for being here with us today or tonight, wherever part of the world you are. And thank you for asking me about my pranic journey. And I guess to start with, perhaps also we need to share from our perspective what pranic living is to us.
Yeah, it's important.
I think that there are a lot of people who I have been interacting with have different interpretations or different understanding about pranic living. And for me also, it's like my own personal journey with that. And only through that, my own discovery of the path, I was able to tap into the past, if you may, where it actually started, and consciously. And yes, and how was I able to tap into it without even knowing at the time? So I remember back when I was living in Poland, I used to have a graphic design company, very small one, just my ex-husband and myself. We're doing creating some logos and flyers, graphic design websites for people. And one of the people who approached us for assistance was the owner of the discotheque, local discotheque where I used to live. And me, as a lover of dance, I said yes. So I remember there was this exchange of instead of fully financial reward exchange, we were able to go and enjoy the dance club, being there on a quite regular basis. And I remember going there. I totally adore dancing, any kind of dance. And we could go basically 7, 8 o'clock at night and finish the same time in the morning. You know, sometimes it would be 6 o'clock in the morning, just dancing all night. And I remember that time, people were approaching me and asking me literally, what have I taken? What did you take? What did you have? Well, and in my naivety, I just say, what do you mean? And I didn't even realize that they were asking me about some kind of drugs or whatever. And I said, I didn't take anything. And they said, yeah, tell us what you took. And I remember going through my, process mentally, trying to understand. It's like, yes, I mean, I can go and just dance all these hours and not eating or drinking at that time, because I'm just in that flow. And it made me think, what is it that it's, giving me that energy? Where's this energy coming from? And now, obviously, I know that it was already, when you're in that passion mode, where you do what you love, the energy just flows. You don't really have to do anything. But also, what's very interesting, and this is like a little warning for people, is that the day afterwards, even though I didn't drink any alcoholic beverages at the time, I had literally a hangover, because this energy in that place, when a lot of people were drinking, was basically absorbed through my body as well. So everything that was around, I was basically absorbing, not just the energy in terms of, keeping me really energized, but everything that was in there. And that also made me wonder, how come I've got this hangover when I wasn't drinking? So that was the first realization. I remember that there was something that I'm tapping into it, and I didn't know what it was and what to put to it. And then a few years later, when I was living in the, if you may, like an eco village or shared community, very small community, I remember one night we were watching this documentary about people living in a Breatharian way. And it was documentary made very raw, like not edited. I haven't seen it. I don't know what this documentary is. It's not like something that it's commercially produced. It was just people sharing it from Scandinavian countries. And I remember when I was watching, I felt slight resistance to it in terms of, wow, that's really out there. It's like, for me, it's like just being vegan is already for people kind of like an alien, and eating just vegetables and then discovering raw foods. And I just said, nah, raw food is already out there, but being Breatharian, it's like, nah, that's kind of, but I remember that time the seed was planted. So I have seen it, and I was able to plant something in my unconscious mind as well, to remember later, right, when the opportunity arrived, when I was ready for it. And I can't exactly point the date or the time when I went back to it, and only through the experience that we talked about in 2011, that was a journey where I started to investigating everything basically about me. So, because of this experience, it was like trying to investigate, okay, what I was eating, what I was thinking, what I was doing, what was the environment like, trying to find criteria for this awakening. And because I was on water and dates basically during that time, and on a pretty high raw diet, that made me think, and I haven't really spoken about another time which added to it. It was at the vegan festival that I founded in Adelaide. And it was 2000, let me think. I think it was 2010, which was before my experience. And it was something that really shifted my psychic abilities to a next level. And at the time, and so I knew that I'm tapping into something. I didn't know exactly what at the time. So just very briefly, I was on a stage drawing raffle tickets for people. And I remember putting an intention to it. Oh, all these people who gathered here, would be lovely if these are the ones who win the prizes, because those ones who are not here, it would be easy for me as well. Don't have to call people and try to deliver the prizes. So those who stayed, it would be lovely for them just to collect the prize on the day. And when people were on the lawn, I said, okay, what color have you got? So I would try to pick the ticket for you. And honestly, literally, all the 10 tickets were exactly the people who were sitting over there on the lawn. They got the prizes. And I was just afterwards, I was trying to think what was going on. Same investigation, How is this possible that I can just draw someone's ticket who's sitting there and say, I'm going to draw your ticket, and that is a ticket, And that day I was not drinking or eating at all, because I was in that mode of passionately assisting on that festival. And I thought, there's something to it, And it just, since then, it's been a consistent manifestation of whatever I'm putting in with my true heart, and I'm saying true as in open heart, when it's genuinely something that it's not just benefiting me as a person, but the collective. It just happens, and it manifests itself in a way, like the universe brings it and to me and make it happen. So for me, this is pranic living. It's part of that. It's being in a state of flow, totally connected and aligned with everything that is around, and feeling it, loving it, being in gratitude for it, and sharing it with others any way you can. So this is how pranic living is for me.
I'm so
What
happy.
What about you, Adrienn?
Yeah, I'm so happy. And again, another similarity. My perspective of pranic living, it's very, very similar to you. And I'm very happy to hear it from other person, in this case from you. Yeah, I just, I didn't have a, like a definition what is pranic living. I hear from different kind of people, and one person doing like this way, another person like that way, but until I didn't experience on my way, and I knew that yes, this is pranic living, I didn't know exactly what it is. And I got the same message and the same feeling like you. Pranic living for me is the wholeness. When I realize who who I really am, my trueness, I connect to the source, or my higher self, or my true being, and I experience and live this completeness, and I'm not the need state anymore. So I don't need things from the outside, and I can be in this flow, what you mentioned, and be aligned with everything, and in flow and harmonize with everything. And yeah, pranic living, it's not about food. It doesn't have just the aspect of food. It has also about abundance, uh, feeling this love what you haven't experienced before, because this wholeness love, this love which is coming from your true self, it's so special and so incredible. So living this wholeness, what you mentioned, it's pranic life for me too.
Yes, I feel like you beautifully explain it. It's like oneness. You one with everything, and
Yeah.
it's not like you're resisting anything. You're not rejecting anything. You're not denying anything. It's like not fighting with anything. It's like living in this acceptance and also gratitude for that which is, no matter what is presenting. um, and I guess in order to to have this alignment, if you may, or feeling of oneness, is that it is coming from within. So it's like I'm in love with myself,
Yeah,
in that way.
exactly. Exactly.
And it's like, I love
Yeah.
every part of me. I love my life. I love everyone around me. And, it's
I
like,
want to mention that you can be like not consuming anything, not eating and drinking, and that experience this and not being in a pranic state.
yes,
So this is not the
yes,
same thing. If you are not eating or drinking,
no,
then you are in a pranic state. It not want to say, and this is the case. What you mentioned, pranic state. It's
yes,
the oneness, being in love and loving yourself.
yes. And I think when we love ourselves to the point and realize that we don't need anything external, then we realize that we actually don't need anything external, including the physical food.
Exactly.
But it's the stage that it's like, it's a consequence of the living and not a goal to achieve. So it's like the other way around, and I've experienced I've came across a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that a lot of people believe that when you go on a pranic journey or you have an initiation, and when you give up on food, then you're gonna be happy. For
Yeah.
one, you're not giving up food. It's not a giving up thing. It's like accepting food. It's accepting the universe. It's accepting everything, no matter what it is. Because when you accept the food doesn't feel rejected. And then when it's not feeling rejected, it's feeling loved, then it will only give you love. And when you feel full with that love, you don't need it anymore. you know it's like a
Exactly.
reverse journey. So we will notice that we do need food. We're drawn to particular food when there is a need inside that needs something, and then we don't know how to meet that need. And then the food might be, oh, maybe this particular food, let's say a chocolate, or for some people might be alcohol, for some people might be pizza, for some people might be whatever, something else external to fill up that need that we may need to meet, no matter what it is. It could be emotional, it doesn't have to be, it could be physical as well.
Exactly. But there is different stages. There are people, humans, who are still not very conscious, and they are on that consciousness. And I always say that on that consciousness, you really need to eat. Otherwise, it's very that you reject eating. But when you start to realize who you are and connect your true self and experience this wholeness like little by little, then you can play with food and experience what is living without food. But it cannot be forced because
No.
it's just a consequence. First,
Yes.
you need to get that state, and then it will be automatically happen that you just
Mm-hmm.
don't want to eat. It's just not coming to your mind. But until you are thinking of food, you need to eat. And I also experienced that when you reached that state, it doesn't matter if you are eating or not eating.
That's true. That's so true.
You are
It
the
doesn't matter
same.
whatever you do.
Yeah. So it's like a journey. First, you experience just not eating, and then you realize that although you are not eating, you are not enlightened, and you are not in the pranic flow state, you are not happy. So something is not okay here. Why people do this, not eating, if it's just a struggle? and and then you go back to eat and you are very bad, and you start to blame the food and think that, oh, food is so devil and so bad, and it will take down my frequency. And then you are just in between this and blaming and fighting and thinking like
Mm.
this. And then when you have this switch and you really truly live this pranic state, what you mentioned before, then it doesn't matter if you're eating or not eating.
Yes. And you know, Adrienn, what we talked about on the first video, that surrendering, it's the same with the food. I remember after my first initiation, well, only initiation really, I was drawn towards food that I would normally do not want to consume. And it's that the rejection of it, that the fight that I had, and those thoughts, no, I shouldn't be eating it. No, it's not good for me. No, it's just like a lot of guilt and shame, all these things coming up. No, it's not part of me. No, I don't want to. And only when I surrendered and consume that particular food or not, depending on the journey with that particular food, I had to ask myself, and this food, why are you showing up for me? Why do you want to enter my body? And what are you trying to tell me? And why am I rejecting you? Why I don't want you? What is it about me that I don't want, that I'm associating with that particular foods? Because it's like rejecting yourself. And until you accept this part of yourself that's coming through that food, because food is just a tool for us in this work. And so use it as a tool of awakening, to get to know yourself, because there are stories that are hidden in that food that want to come out, that want to be heard. And these are stories, your own stories, that you perhaps can't uncover until it comes through the food. And it doesn't matter what that story is, if you just stay in that witnessing mode, just listen to the story, what this particular, whether chocolate or whatever that is, what
but
is
then
it
I
want to tell
realized,
you.
I realized the same, what you are saying. You need to observe yourself and see yourself, how you react to food. And because our environment is just a mirror of ourselves, and it's teaching us a lot of things. And if you are conscious enough, then you can learn from it, everything from you, and then find yourself inside. And one part is the food, what it's teaching us. Other part, it's our relationships, what can be a partner or relationship with your son, daughter, or family or friend with the society. And the other relationship is economically, the money. So all these three things, this is the main point, main parts here in the physical world, what wants to show you yourself.
Yes.
And you can learn a lot through them.
Yes, it's exactly right. And I've noticed that, especially in relationships you talk about. With the money, it was a little bit different for my journey, because it's a different kind of energy, and I didn't have any resistance to that. But in relationships, it's like in that book, Celestine's Prophecy. It's like, listen to the messages that the people are telling you, trying to tell you. So if someone is saying, and so we had this conversation today with my friends here at Kokoro, is like, when someone is telling something to you, even if it's about them, see if you can see, what is it first, why are they telling it to you? What is it telling you about you that you need to learn? Because it's like we attract particular people in our lives at the stage where we at, and it's to give us some information about us, and through that, isn't it wonderful to it's like we creating these people to come to us so we can learn about ourselves, and while we help ourselves, we can help this other person at the same time. It's just so easy. It's all in a collective. It's not like we're helping just one person, whether through our work or just interacting or talking to someone. It's helping another person, helping myself, and helping in a bigger scale, because it's a ripple effect. If we're taking it back home, we're taking it to work, we're taking it, to the beach where we meet someone, or shopping, or whatever. We're just carrying it because it's part of us.
Yeah,
So,
I want to summarize all our talks. So first, we shared our enlightenment, how happened, where we actually met with the source, with God, and we understood what it's all about. This, and we also experienced this light, this love. What is what is life? And then after we know where to put our physical body. So physical body is just a tiny little piece in ourselves, and through this we can experience things. But it's like about eating and the relationships, the way how you first you just feel yourself as a victim, and you have an illusion that you are in your body and there are others, and oh, let's see how this person will react, and but let's see what will happen in my life, because I'm not creating my life. I'm nobody to do this for this. And then later, when you have this alignment, you see and you know this light, what is the mountain, the university, the everything, and then you see your trueness and your body actually what it is. And then you realize that the persons around you is just an illusion. They really don't exist, and it's just you express your light to them, and they are pressing back. And depending what you are express outside, you will receive the same. And it's the same about food. So it's not something big that, whoa, if I will eat a hamburger, I will die, or I will lose my connection, or my frequency will go down, and it's coming from devil. You who can change also what you are eating to light, because what you are eating,
yes.
it's a very tiny, doesn't matter thing if you are doing it or not
Yes.
doing it, and it's automatically you change it to light, because your light, it's much higher, and not just your light every, because it's all one. It's much higher than this tiny piece. And if I want to
Yes.
go forward, if everything is one, then what I'm eating, it's just me. It's just an illusion. And
Yes.
it's important why I'm eating. So
Mm.
how you mentioned, Grace, it's so important. First, observe yourself, your eating habits, and what you are doing, because you can learn from it, and this is the path which will take you where you want to go. But once you are
Mm.
getting there, you will realize what actually is food, what actually the relationships, what actually everything around you.
Mm. So true. And like, I feel like if anyone finds it hard to observe oneself, it's really good to ask someone else, and
Yeah,
just really stay open to that.
yeah,
And with really open heart, without feeling that you attacked, or because I know this, I have been there. And it's sometimes, especially if you're putting yourself out there, there is a lot of information that's going to come. But stay open, because it for one, it may not have anything to do with you. It could be, but only realize it later. So when you hear that, this is the one really good technique. So when you hear it, don't take it personally, because it might be actually someone else telling you what they want to find out about themselves, but whatever you hear, also observe it. What if it's actually true? What is it telling me about me? Because what we hear may be different what we may need to interpret as, taking your own guidance of what it is. But in order to do that, we really need to witness it without any judgment or feeling that we're being criticized. And I think that was something very that I've been struggling with in the past, to accept that criticism, or some people telling me, or what I am, what I'm not, or and until I surrendered and I said, you just, I'm happy to hear whatever, and then just really slowly be gentle on yourself, to let it sink in and see what it's actually telling me. Because we might be triggered by whatever someone is telling us about our breatharian path or whatever in our life that it's happening, but it's not what they're saying, it's how we respond to it. So it's like a constant journey, and we need to be in that flow, and it's not like we have to force it. What you said, Adrienn, we don't actually need to do anything, we just have to be, and that's the beauty of it. Loving it, loving every moment, whatever it's coming our way. Because even if it's something negative, what we may call negative coming, it's just wanting to be loved. That's all it wants. But it's a journey, and yes, self-observation and self-love, non-judgment, non-violence towards oneself, they're really steps, like the essential parts of that discovery of the self. And food is wonderful tool for that. So obviously when people are drawn to breatharianism, there is a reason for it. They, unconsciously, most of them might be because they want to discover themselves, of who they are, what they are. And it may nothing to do with food. And food is just like a tool, literally, like becoming like a friend. It's like an enemy that we make friend. In the end, we love the food in the end. We don't necessarily have to eat it, but it's beautiful. It's all these colors and smells, and it's just part of us. We created the food in the first place.
Exactly. And feeling that is part of us, then you just ask yourself, why should I eat this food? It's part of me.
Yeah. And when we do want to eat something, why do I want to eat that part of me? What is it that I feel like I'm missing?
Yeah. I think most of the people, they don't know why they want to be breatharian. Normally the people, they are saying that I don't want to eat. It's very good not eating because it's easier. I don't need to go for shopping. Economically, it's also beneficial. And then this is one part. And then other part want to be breatharian from ego, saying that, wow, I'm special, I'm breatharian, not like others. But they really, truly don't know the journey, what they will receive through this journey, and the gift, what is waiting for them at the end of on the path. It's just so beautiful, but nobody thinks this connection, breatharianism, pranic life, and this aspect what we are speaking now.
Yes, and I feel like this pranic living, the path, it's the unknown, that even it could be different for everyone. You see, I feel like this discovery of self might be so different for each person, and that's why it's so exciting, because I already know the part of me. So this other person, which is another aspect of me, one, of course, I'm not going to have the same journey. Of course, I'm not going to, experience the same, because I want to expand. I want to find out what else can I find out about myself. It's like I was telling to someone, we're talking about, someone said, oh, I want to be like Lady Gaga. And I said, I don't. I'm already am Lady Gaga, and she's there. you know, I want to. It's like, why do I want to have two Lady Gagas?
Yeah.
In this world, it would be a little bit boring. So we created these different parts of each of ourselves to find out more exciting things. What else can I find out? That's why we want this knowledge. That's why we want to find out and learn and study. Oh, by the way, this is what I got today. My first day, university.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
officially, I'm a student
You are a
again.
student, yeah.
Student of
Congr-
life.
wow. See,
Yes.
your physical aspect is changing day by day, and you are go back younger and younger each day.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving the ride. And I think this aspect of being younger, that's another part of the journey. I really noticed it when I was on a dry, several days dry, or maybe on just some liquids. The moment when I started eating, literally very fast, I could see myself aging. It was very interesting. And I was just like, ooh. And at that time, I remember the first time when I noticed that, oh, no, 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 I don't want to go old. I don't want to grow old. I better stop eating again. And it's another layer of uncovering, why don't I want to get old? What's wrong with getting old? And the moment I accept it, it just goes back. It's like, oh, you feel young again.
I was observing myself in this aspect, and yes, I had a part of my life when I realized, experience the same way. If I'm eating, I can see on my face that it's changing. It's just getting older. I don't know. But then later, I had periods when I consumed food and nothing changed. My face was the same, that vibrant, what I
Yes.
wanted. What I really actually realized, that I have a very huge difference before Pranic Living and after Pranic Living. So what I want to say about eating, it doesn't matter you are eating or not eating, because it's just you realize it is not affecting your physical body, but you need to get there. Because
Yes.
before I really felt, when I was a raw vegan and I consumed cooked food, afterwards I just felt out so hang out, and I could see on my face that, wow, I just, oof, so bad. But everything went from my mentality, and I was in that illusion that this physical reality what we have. So I thought that if I'm not consuming anything, or if I'm consuming healthy food, which was for me at that moment this raw vegan food, uh, and if I'm eating other food, it can affect my body badly, and all the other food is very harmful. So this exactly what I had my mindset. Later, I
Was
experienced this
yes.
on my physical body, and really, I need to tell you, all my focus, we did everything, was focused to this. Okay, I'm eating a raw vegan diet. I'm so healthy, and the craving for cooked food coming up a lot. And when I decided, okay, this night I will eat that cooked meal, and it was like a celebration for me. And then later I felt very guilty and very bad. And next day, the first thing what I did, morning, go to the bathroom and see me on the mirror, and say my husband, look, my aspect, cooked food is not good. It's not good. and I feel myself very bad and all stuff. But then
Yes.
later, after the Pranic living, when I really had this connection, the oneness and the flow and the love, everything what we mentioned before, and I really started to experience and living the oneness. Everything is one, and everything is energy, and everything is love, and everything is light. Then it didn't affect. It's not affecting my physical body if
Yes.
I'm eating.
It doesn't matter what you eat, it's how you
Exactly.
feel about the food.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Because you can have the healthy foods, like I remember one time I was eating some blueberries or raspberries, and and I was feeling so bad because I was eating it at the moment I was experiencing some unpleasant emotions, and I just wanted to eat, just to fill up these emotions, not to deal with it. And then I'm just saying, like, I'm abusing my body with these blueberries or whatever, and then I just stopped and I said, what am I saying? What am I doing? How can I say that about myself? And I was like, wow, this is a big one. And it's like, how can raspberries be bad or blueberries? I'm thinking, how can anything be bad? So,
We
so
judge a lot, it's a kind of judgment. We are judging the food what we are eating and putting to labels to the food, and also we judge the persons, other person,
ourselves,
my neighbor,
yes,
ourselves, and my neighbor and my friends, they are doing bad, but me, I'm doing perfectly everything. I'm not beautiful enough, and the other person is so beautiful. We are always judging everything. But
mm,
if you see a flower, it's not coming to your mind judging this flower. You just accept the flower how it is.
yes,
and
yes,
and we need to experience and understand that we don't need to judge. And also, it's you need to feel it from inside and understand this process, because otherwise you will feel guilty yourself that you are judging others, and you start to not doing it, and it's just
yes,
but it's wanting to come on out, and you do no, you are a bad person because you are judging, not spiritual
yes.
person. So you need to leave everything. But later, when this is again where we started about the enlightenment, and feeling that everything one and everything is love. You need to experience this moment,
Mm,
and one will understand everything how it's working.
mm. So true. And when we tap in and talk about relationships, it's probably the most beautiful subject that we can talk about, because it just changes everything. And the moment we accept another for who they are, it's like allowing yourself to accept yourself for who you are, for all the parts of you. I mean, food is wonderful, right? But it becomes almost like, yes, like we talk about it, it doesn't really matter. We don't want to focus all our attention and that lifestyle just about the food. So there's so many different aspects of it. You talk about the flowers, there's people, people are just so amazing because they can talk to us, like physically you can hear. With the foods, you really have to be in stillness and open up so much. And some of us may not be at that level yet. And I'm not saying that it's better or worse. It's just that it really requires a lot of attention and being in the stillness and listening to your own body. And it is a journey. Everyone will eventually get there, But if we're in a relationship, or even if we're not, the people who are around us, they tell us so much about ourselves.
Yeah.
So we can work with that.
And especially you can live like blind in a relationship, and you really truly don't realize the other person, the trueness of the other person. Because as you don't have this connection inside you, and you didn't realize your true self, then you cannot realize in the other person. And maybe you are living another totally 100% other person, but you are thinking that this person is this, and maybe it's not, it's totally different. But as you don't have this connection to you, then you cannot see the trueness of other person, and you can be married 20, 30, 100 years and don't know with who you live.
Yes. I remember there was a particular moment in my life, not quite a long time ago, when something shifted in me as well in terms of my own discovery and what I was seeing in people, because I always see love, I see everyone is just so beautiful to me. And then in the part, like I was manifesting a perfect partner for myself, and I wrote even a list of this has to be like this and like that, all of these parts. And I noticed when I'm with that person, it's like this is all that I see and what I wanted, and then I'm seeing it, but I don't recognize it in myself. That's why I needed someone else to almost like fill me up with that.
Yeah.
And until that moment, when I realized, when I saw this person for who they are, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's like a male version of me. I said, and then I ran research. I said, well, I don't actually need that anymore. I am that. And then it's like this discovery, and it's like I can just be in love with myself, really. So all this seeking of this other partner, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to be with a partner, don't get me wrong with that, because it's beautiful to be in a partnership. It's but in that moment, until I realized that, it's almost like you're relying on this person to fill you up, to complete you.
The same
And
what we are doing with food, with everything.
Yes, the same thing.
Yeah,
and until you
I need a
realize you already
partnership to
full.
fulfill me. I need the food to quit my hunger, and not feel
Yes.
me that, oh, I'm very weak. So not feeling me weak, I need the food to feel myself strong. I need a partner next to me, not feeling me weak, and to love me, because I'm not loving myself. And I need to be rich, a lot of money to feel myself in abundance and relax at that state, because otherwise I'm weak and I'm very fragile.
Yes. Yes. I remember this saying or poem. I don't remember word by word, but it's about the abundance and about the money. It was like a conversation, and someone saying, "Oh, I really want to be rich," and then the poet or someone else is saying, "I'm so rich. I've got so many stars in the sky. I've got the sun and the moon and the earth I can stand on. I'm so rich and I'm so abundant." What else do we really need if we realize that's another part of us too? It's like we are that. How can not we feel rich and abundant?
Exactly. And I can understand it, because you just have a connection to your physical body, and you think that this is what just only has, and this physical body doesn't have a connection to your true self, to your light. And this physical body itself, without this light, it's weak, it's fragile, and you need things around you which is support you. Otherwise, you feel lost yourself. And but once you have this connection and you experience this true light, is just everything. It's so perfect. A lot of a lot of time I get a question that, okay, then if you are not eating, how you energize your body, how you nourish your body? And I'm just there and asking them why I need to energize my body, why I need to nourish my body. I already perfect the way how I am, and I don't feel to lose this light what I have. I don't feel to lose it 1 second or anything, or I just it starts to be less and less with the time. No, it's just shining more and more, and half past the time I can grant more and more light to this being. So I just don't understand this aspect that you need to do any kind of techniques. Yeah, a lot of people are asking me, do you do a breathing or sun gazing?
Yes.
Or
A lot
hocus
of people
pocus
think.
or something
Yes.
like this? And I'm saying, no, I'm just be. I'm perfect the way I am, and I don't need anything.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm just wondering, if we were able to give a tip to someone, like you know, how to start this journey, really, not thinking about the food is really, I feel like the nature is such a wonderful teacher. If we can't do it with our body or with the food, just what you were talking about, the flower, if we could just look at the flower and appreciate it for what it is, we don't have to pick it. We can just look at it, smell it, look at all the colors, all the shades, the shapes, the size of it, how it moves, and then the more and more you're with it, you might actually notice that there is a relating and a conversation happening. It's relating to it in the most beautiful way. And sometimes it could be like, for me, what's been working really well, and I'm saying working as in nourishing me, I can just be in nature, and I can be in silence. I can just look at everything for hours. Sometimes it's not comfortable for others. What are you doing there in the garden, doing nothing? And I said,
And
it's a
especially when you are
nothing
with
time.
kids,
It's a
it's just
nothing time.
you cannot be there and just be there in silence 1 hour. And I would love to do it by my daughter in 2 seconds. Mommy, come and do
Yes.
this, that. Yeah. But I
Yes.
understand, yeah.
Yeah. But finding those times, it could be even 5 minutes for someone, starting somewhere. And sometimes even like, in the initiation and the retreats, we focus on energy exercises and practices. It's not about what you do. It's about allowing yourself to have the time for yourself, to start loving yourself so you can do these things for yourself because we deserve it. We deserve it, and we like having a time, making a date with ourselves. And that's the self-love, that becomes a focus and a priority for us.
First, I needed, yes, the same, that I needed a time for myself when I can practice my self-love and do things which is really passionate me. And then I just realized that you need to do what you love and what's coming from inside. And when you are on this path, you cannot do other way, because it's just you can. So you just vibrating through your heart, that the only thing which is function and you can see on your reality, which is coming from here, from your heart. And that's why every person who changing who doing this process after their lives change, you cannot do other way. And but I also wanted to mention that for me it was a very good lesson or teachings that I'm as a mother of a family. As a mother, I wanted to be a mother, but being a mother means that 90% of your day is just not from you. You need to serve others. And maybe one day you want to do a meditation, but you cannot because you need to play with your child because she needs it. And first time I was really disharmonic in this, and I was searching myself, and I really thought that I need my me time when I can fill me up to can give others. And yeah, being a mom, I didn't have that much me time, what I craving, what I wanted. And then I realized that once I have this flow, this energy, I can express this energy out, and I'm doing a shopping in a supermarket, or going driving and taking my kids from A to B. I can be in this pranic flow and pranic state and pranic joy and feeling overwhelming my heart. And since I'm in this state, no matter which situation I am, I change. I see change on my family and on my kids because I'm doing it with different vibration. So yes, first you need me time, but if you cannot have, it's not like it's not like a reason that you cannot be in this flow.
And I think my not understanding, but my experience is like, it's not, it's you know how when you meditate, you want to maybe find a time, half an hour and an hour to meditate, sit down, or meditate. But it's like on the pranic living, the living itself becomes meditation. It's like you in this meditative state at all times.
Yeah, it's so good that you mentioned this.
When I resist, that's when I'm coming out of it. Sometimes it's like, oh, what's happening now? Why am I feeling like this? Because it's something might be, I'm not attending to it. I'm not present. I'm just, maybe my thoughts are somewhere else. So it's becoming aware, like, oh, okay, what's happening here? That constant observation. And it's not like you have to put an effort to it. It's just like you observe. And it's okay if you out of this alignment, or whatever you might want to call it. It's like loving it, because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't know what's on the other side, So it's either way, it's so beautiful, no matter what it is, no matter what is showing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I really love that you mentioned this. You really don't need time for meditation. You just need to be, and that's it.
That's
and enjoy it, love it.
Yes. So beautiful. I'm loving these conversations with you, Adrienn.
Yeah, me too. It's just fulfilling me also. So I'm so grateful that we have this connection. Yeah.
I was sharing some people when they were asking me about my nourishment. Okay, well, if you don't eat today, where you get your energy from? And I said, well, we're just talking right now. We're just here, present with each other. That's already nourishing me. If you want to think that it's separate from me, I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the color of your dress. It's like, wow, it's nourishing me. I'm just loving that color. So.
And what I experienced on my physical body, that I was very I'm a naturopath and nutritionist also. I have these papers. and I was very conscious about what eating, how many minerals, vitamins, and it was very well studied, and organic foods and everything. But I couldn't get that much mineral or vitamins to my body through eating, and I say the best quality of food. Then opening these channels on me and understand that I'm love and I'm light, and this light is manifesting in the physical form, to my hair, to my nails, to my skin, to my body, and everything. And this is well more nourished my body, and started to, I have better quality from everything in the physical form.
Yes.
I'm more nourished at that way than before.
Yeah. Yes. And it comes through, it comes from inside out,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, for sure. It's the feeling, that we're getting when we're with someone or with ourselves. It's I can't even put words to it. It's like, yes, it's basically love. There's nothing else than that.
And when you allow it, the more love you can cultivate and living here on the physical body, and this is what transforms on our physical aspect. So I see a huge difference and huge improvement on my skin, on my hair, on my teeth, and everything. And it's just wow. It's also amazing me. And on the breast milk that at the moment I'm now in this stage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yes. Oh, you're so beautiful.
And you, we all.
We all are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. We won.
And also for me, it was very interesting that I was observing people like before who I knew that they were eating like a lot, but they really truly loved what they are doing, working. They were just living it with all the love, and I saw them like shining. And I was thinking that it's not about what you're eating and what not.
Yes.
How many light you can express through you and live it.
Yes. That's so true. That's so true. Couldn't say it any better way. It's the love that we put.
Thank you so much for being here, Grace, and share your perspective. Again, I need to say the same. That what I found out that you think the same way as me. Yes. So thank you so much for sharing and for this beautiful talk. And next week we plan to speak about motherhood and how we live in the family and with the kids and with the husband, our lives.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it as well, sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Grace.
Thank you for everyone who's watching.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Much love.
Love.